Hello, 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 people. Hello. And welcome to NGB Business News, the greatest business news commentary channel on YouTube, people. And we got some good ones for you guys here today. We've got some good ones. We're going into the whole Russian war, Ukrainian situation. Zelensky, if you guys didn't know, who is pretty much the president of Ukraine, has came out, in his statement about the beheadings. If you guys didn't know, there was a video that came out about Ukrainian soldiers being beheaded. Very sad, very disgusting story. But we're going to see what the Ukrainian president had to say about that. Is he going to throw some threats at Russia? You know what I'm saying? Is he about to double down? Is this really what's going to make the turning point? Who knows? But it's going to be really interesting to see what the president has to say about that. Also, we're going to talk about NPR, a major publishing company, and basically they're not going to continue to use Twitter anymore. It's probably related to all the crazy things that Elon Musk has been doing and everything like that. But it's very interesting that a publishing company or a company of that type of sorts that puts out articles, that puts out news, will not be using Twitter, one of the biggest social media sites. That has to be a monetary loss, but for them, I think they see it on a moral standpoint as viable. So that's going to be really interesting, and that will also kind of let us know about the future of Twitter, which we will also talk about at the end of the stream, which will be about Elon Musk essentially saying, okay, we're about to break even at Twitter, his plans with Twitter and everything like that. And it's been kind of a madhouse ever since Elon Musk took Twitter. Not only has Twitter been, well, it's no longer on the stock market, but not only has Twitter been essentially losing value, but so has Tesla, so has SpaceX, and everything pretty much involving that man. As we know, he was the number one richest man in the world. Then he went to number 2. Now I think he's not even on the top 10 list. So if that lets you know what kind of deep water Twitter is, that should kind of give you an idea. We're also going to talk about Warren Buffett speaking on the banks. We know there was the whole SVB bank collapse, which caused a lot of rich people to realize, hey, maybe my money isn't as secure as I thought it was, which caused a lot of them to pull it out, and that's causing banks to collapse. So we're going to have to see what Warren Buffett, pretty much one of the smartest men in the world when it comes to things like this type of finance, this type of corporate, infrastructure. He's one of the smartest people in that. So it's very important, I feel like, to get an understanding of the way he's thinking, because he's a very logical and sound man. And last, we're going to get into Trump, and he is actually trying to slow down his essay case. We know he just went through a case for 36 felonies that he got found not guilty. Maybe he'll get found not guilty in this next case as well. You know what we say here on the channel: the sky is blue. The sky will always be blue, and Donald Trump will always either be suing someone or getting sued. You feel me? So it's going to be interesting. We're going to look and see if we can learn some more facts about that case, possibly any more information that's came out and everything like that. So I'm going to pull up my chair. I'm going to sit back. And you guys already know, let's go ahead and get into the first topic. So the first topic is about Zelensky, the Ukrainian president. I'm not sure, are they called presidents in Ukraine? I'll have to see, but the Ukrainian president slams beast who purportedly beheaded Ukrainian soldiers after a video emerges. And I'm going to have to agree with him on this. I would call them beasts pretty much at that point. I understand in war, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, it's war. It's, delete someone or be deleted. But when it comes to things like beheadings, it's like, is that really necessary? That's more of like a savage. When I think of that, I think of more of a savage style of like Mexican cartel type of policing, you know what I'm saying, and everything like that. Not like an actual, just your standard war tactics normally don't include that type of thing. You either normally taking in prisoners, or you're just directly, unfortunately, shooting someone. So let's see what he has to say about this, guys. Let's see what he has to say about this. Now it says, Ukrainian President Vladimir. Wow, I'm gonna try it, because you guys know I like to try the words. Gotta stress the tongue. Volodymyr Zelensky on Wednesday condemned as beasts who purportedly beheaded Ukrainian soldiers, shown in 2 videos that emerged on social media in the past week. Terrible. The video appears to be of separate events. One of them may have been filmed very recently, while the other, from the amount of foliage seen on the ground, looks like it was filmed during the summer. So, this war is probably a lot more savage than we really play it out to be. Especially if you're in America like me, you probably think about it as just like, oh, okay, there's just some kind of fighting going on. But these are really people's lives, guys, and we got to consider that these are real, true people. You got to think about it as if, oh, what if I had to go to war? How would my family be affected? How would my son, how would my daughter be affected by that? And just yourself, like, imagine how scary it must be to be in that type of situation. The PTSD that you must feel, the stress that you must feel on the battlefield every day, knowing that something like this could possibly happen to you, So I think that's something that a lot of people take for granted, and this war is kind of bringing that back. It says the first video, which was posted to a pro-Russian social media channel, that's disgusting. Even if you are pro-Russian, that's fine, especially if you're Russian, that makes sense. But is this really what we want to promote? It doesn't matter what your culture is or who you are around the world. Is this what we want to do? On April 8th was purportedly filmed by Russian missionaries from the Wagner Group and appears to show the beheaded corpses of 2 Ukrainian soldiers lying on the ground next to a destroyed military vehicle. In the video, a voice can be heard behind the camera that sound seemingly distorted to prevent the speaker's identification. The armored vehicle got, by a mine. The voice in Russia pretty much says in Russian. Now it says, apparently referring to the bodies on the ground, the voice laughing continues. They're laughing about this, guys. And, that says a lot. I understand that you can be very deconditioned when you're in war. You see a lot of deletions. You see a lot of crazy things like that. But when it gets to the point where, you delete somebody and there's a smile on your face, you're laughing about it, that's different. That's a different type of evil. Now it says they deleted them. Somebody came up to them. They came up to them and, did that. Now, Russian social media accounts say the video was shot near Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine, which has been the scene of the war's fiercest fighting for many months, with Wagner's fighters heavily involved. CNN is unable to independently confirm the video's location. And this is footage. Okay. I want to make sure, we don't want to show anything crazy on YouTube. But this is apparently what that entire region looks like and everything like that. It's an ad. Hold on. Let me get my dance moves. Can I dance before the ad ends? I got 3 seconds. I'm playing with y'all. But yeah, you guys see how it's looking. It's not looking good at all. Wow. This looks like a Call of Duty map. It's real life out here, people. It's real life out here. It's real dangerous out here. And you really got to pray for all these families that are affected. Look, like she looks so sad. And these people's lives have been completely changed. They went from living their life every day just like you and I would to the places that they live just being completely obliterated through, the consequences of war. It's very sad to see. And you see how these older Ukrainian women are handling it not very well, and we really can't blame them. Now it says the second video, which was posted to Twitter and is heavily blurred, looks to have been filmed. Sorry about that. Get right for you guys. Looks to have been filmed during the summer because an amount of plant life on the ground. Oh, so that's how they were able to tell. That's pretty interesting. It purports to show a Russian fighter using a knife to cut off, Ukrainian soldier. A voice at the beginning of the video suggests the victim might have still been alive when the attack began. Zelensky vowed behind those purported atrocities would be held accountable. There is something that no one in the world can ignore: how easily these beasts delete. He's firing up the people. He's possibly even making this a case of, hey, look, like, they're not playing by the rules of war. Look at how they're acting. You know what I'm saying? If you guys want to help out, help out. Look at how they're acting. You don't want that to backfire and come on to you should they win against us, that type of thing. and just in general, I feel like he personally feels for his people. He's had to see his people go through this ridiculous war, and he's probably angry. He's probably like, hey, it's time to get our get back, you know? And he said, we're not going to forget anything. Neither are we going to forgive the deletions. There will be legal responsibility for everything. The defeat of terror is necessary. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said Wednesday that the video was terrible, but first of all, we need to identify the authenticity of the footage. So, guys, there's still the chance that this footage isn't real. It probably is real. Let's keep it stacked. It's probably real. But, we don't want to just go off of, the news necessarily until things are confirmed. It says in his regular call with the journalist, Peskov said, of course, these are terrible shots. Then it may be a reason to check whether it's true or not, whether this took place, and if so, where and from which side. On Monday, the Institute for the Study of War said Wagner was reportedly continuing to commit war crimes by, deleting Ukrainian servicemen in Bakhmut, referencing a photo shared on pro-Russian social media site showing what appeared to be a deleted head, which they claimed belonged to a Ukrainian soldier mounted on a spike. Guys, what is this? Like, are we going back to what, like the olden days where people used to do that, where people used to fight with swords and do that type of intimidation tactics? Like, are we back in the days of like early Greece, like the Spartans versus the Spartans versus the Spartans pretty much fought like everybody over there. The Spartans versus, so many other Europeans, you know what I'm saying? This is what I get when I hear you're putting a head on a spike. That's not even how modern warfare really works. But you know what they say? There's no love. What is it? There's no love in war, or whatever you would like to call it like that. Also appreciate whoever came in and thrown that like. You're a real one. I definitely appreciate that. But I understand that. But still, there's a code of conduct, if you guys didn't know, that goes with when you do war. Certain weapons like gassing people aren't allowed to be, used and everything like that. And if you do break those rules, then you can have a lot of countries coming at you aggressively. So this is if it's true, is a direct violation of those rules of war that countries have came together and put into place. Now it says the ISW has reported similar incidents in Popasna, the Luhansk region, where Wagner troops were also operating earlier in the war. Some pro-Russian social media accounts have suggested Ukrainian forces were responsible for it to conceal identification. The echoes a similar claim made by Wagner boss Prigozhin in January after his fighters apparently found bodies, around Bakhmut. So they're saying, hey, like, this wasn't us. You guys know this is a mercenary group. So they're not, they're probably Russians, but they might not even be Russians. They're more so, mercenaries, which are hired soldiers, guys. So, it's not a good look if you're a mercenary, you're a hired soldier, and you do something that breaks the contract of war. Because let's say you want employment in the future from another country. They're going to be like, I don't need to get attacked by all these other countries because you guys can't fight with a form of dignity that the world has already created, and everything like that. Now it says Daria. That kind of sounds like diarrhea. I don't like to make fun of people's names. I'm just saying like Daria Zarinva advisor to the head of office of the president of Ukraine, said Wednesday that the videos were part of a psychological operation aimed at intimidation. And this was what I was thinking. Normally, when you do things like that, to me, it's more so to scare the enemy, and everything like that. Like put fear in their hearts. It's kind of like where you'll wear face paint and everything like that to come off as less human. So when people go and they enter a fight with you, they're already coming at it from a place of fear, which you guys know, obviously, that's not going to help you in the fight. That's going to hurt you. So that's what I was thinking when I heard that, especially the thing about, the head being on the stick. They said it completely dehumanizes and demonstrates the essence of a terrorist country. But it is important to understand the purpose. There is a psychological operation aimed at intimidation. The target audience is not only Ukraine, but also Western societies. It doesn't work on us, though. The Russians are afraid of this, but not us. So I want to know, what do you guys think about this? Do you guys think this is going to kind of unite the Ukrainian people? This is going to be one of those types of things where it's such an egregious act that they're going to look at it and they're going to be like, we need to fight for our country. This is ridiculous. Do you guys think this could be something where other countries start to look in and they start to say, oh, Russia's not playing fair. Russia's not playing by the rules. So maybe we need to step in. Maybe we need to do more. Maybe if not physically, maybe we're sending, aid, sending more food, sending more weapons, over to other states and everything like that. Also, as we know, this might have came out of a mercenary group. Do you guys think that it was actually Russia that did this? Do you guys think that this is the way that the Russian military or Russians mercenaries really act? Do you guys think the video is real in general? I want to see everything you guys think, and I want to hear what you guys think about this situation. It's very sad. Like I said, it's very easy to see something like a war happening on the other side of the world and to kind of just play it off and everything like that. But when you really put yourselves in these people's shoes, you understand that this is something that no one should ever have to go through. It's not funny. It's not a joke or anything like that. And, it's just nasty. It's just nasty. So guys, like, comment, and subscribe and everything like that. I appreciate you guys, all the love you've been showing for sure. And we're going to go ahead and get into the next topic, y'all. So the next topic is going to have to do with NPR quitting Twitter, which will be the first United States outlet that has chosen to essentially quit Twitter, which is crazy because think about it. If you're a news outlet, you're going to get your news out however you can. And you only have a few outlets that you can use. You can use the radio, you can use television. And then past that, your really only options are these large social media sites because we know they're monopolized. You've got YouTube, you've got Twitter, you've got Instagram, you've got Facebook, and you've got Snapchat. That's really about it, other than your own website. So for a large company such as NPR to completely choose to drop Twitter is actually quite crazy because that's possibly a lot of monetary loss for them. That's a lot less ad revenue that they will probably get, and everything like that. So it's going to be really interesting to see. I'm not going to hold you guys up, and let's see kind of, okay, what was their thinking with doing this? Are they going to possibly lose money for this, and everything like that? Because this is abnormal. I can definitely say this is abnormal. Now, this is the NPR building right here. Now, it says NPR said Wednesday it will stop sharing content on Twitter after the social media company labeled NPR state-affiliated media, a term also used for Russia and China-based propaganda outlets. So that's what they're doing. Basically, they got attacked by Twitter. And since they got attacked by Twitter, they're choosing to no longer use the application. That makes a lot more sense. You don't want to use an application that is actively talking trash about you. At that point, I can see why the company would be okay with taking the monetary loss that probably comes, or the loss of exposure, that comes from them no longer, using Twitter. Now it says the news outlet's organizational accounts will no longer post new content on its 52, that's a lot, official Twitter feeds, becoming the first major U.S. news organization to do so since Musk took over Twitter late last year. Now it says NPR was surprised by Twitter's decision to label the company state-affiliated media, reported by the outlet. When pressed by NPR reporter in an email exchange, Musk conceded that the label might not have been accurate. Twitter then challenged the label on NPR's account to government-funded media, which, as you know, government-funded media is a terrible thing. Why? Because media is spitting news to the people, and in a lot of ways, pretty much affects the way that we think. The only way I'm able to even talk about this subject with you guys is why? Because it came out on media. If I was to get news, or let's say I was to get false news, I would possibly think that it was real news, not knowing it's false. And, that's a terrible thing about media, but it's very good to be informed what's going on in the world. But you only have the access to what you are given. You know what I'm saying? I can't go out on the field, go into Twitter's offices and, ask them questions myself. So what do I got to do? I got to go to those news media outlets to get my information. So if they can just be bought off and any type of news can be created, that's not only a really negative thing, but that's extremely dangerous. Now it says the news organization said this label is still inaccurate and misleading since NPR is an editorially independent nonprofit company. That word nonprofit kind of gets thrown around a lot. People don't realize if you're a nonprofit company, but you get a lot of profit to do what you do, even though you're not technically directly getting paid, you might have a nice office. You might have a nice home because that's where you got to live. You might be able to throw some events that profited companies wouldn't even be able to throw because you're getting so much funding because you're nonprofit, you know what I'm saying? But, obviously there are a lot of nonprofits that actually do use their funding for good. I'm just saying that word kind of gets thrown around a lot of times to the point now where a lot of times people will see like, oh, that's a nonprofit company, and they'll be kind of scared to even like donate and stuff like that. Like me, I'm very secure in where I donate and everything like that because I know that there's a lot of companies that, will kind of screw you over, kind of like Black Lives Matter. And, they essentially took a whole bunch of money and did a whole bunch of stuff that they weren't supposed to do with it, So you think it's for a good cause, you give the money, and then you realize I kind of got duped. It says NPR receives less than 1% of its $300 million annual budget from the federally funded Corporation for Public Broadcasting. So 300 annual budget. That could get you to push an agenda. Just saying. NPR did not respond to requests for comments. Twitter responded to a request for comment with a poop emoji. See, this is what happens when you have somebody like Elon Musk, who we're going to talk about later about, he's basically speaking on the state of Twitter right now. So that's going to be really interesting later in the video. But yeah, he responded with a poop emoji. It's funny, but it's unprofessional. If you're a stockholder and you're serious about your money, you're thinking, do I really want to have my money? Well, you wouldn't. But let's say it was in Tesla because, Twitter is off of the market now. Do I really want to have my money in something where the CEO will respond to a very serious allegation with a poop emoji? You know what I'm saying? It's quite wild. Now it says, I would never have our content go anywhere that would risk our credibility, Langston said. Basically they said they won't return to Twitter. NPR CEO is what said this. I've lost my faith in the decision making at Twitter. This is not a good look for Twitter at all. On Wednesday afternoon, Musk tweeted what appeared to be a screenshot of an email from an NPR reporter asking for his reaction to the decision. Now, Musk said defund NPR. He's really coming for them right now. Now, Twitter also briefly added a government funding media tag to the British news outlet BBC, but BBC said that Musk agreed to change the label to publicly funded. As of Wednesday morning, no label is visible on any business Twitter accounts. The new label designations are the latest policy changes Musk has implemented since its tumultuous $44 billion acquisition of the social media platform. During Twitter Spaces interview Tuesday, he said that the Twitter takeover process has been marked by an extremely high level of pain. We've all seen, we've just been watching. It's been ugly. We know it's been ugly. And for my friends that are on Twitter, I'm not on Twitter. Technically, I have an account, but I don't use it. I don't go on Twitter ever. They pretty much kind of hate all the changes that have been made as a result of Elon Musk being, the CEO of Twitter. They kind of see the app as being in a downswing and not as good. So also I want to know too, what is you guys who be on Twitter? Do you guys think Twitter is a better place since Elon Musk left, or it's a worse place? Also let us know why. We're interested. Now, a vocal critic of the media, Musk called New York Times coverage propaganda on April 2 and compared the company's Twitter feed to diarrhea. Y'all like that? Diarrhea. In a tweet. I'm sorry, I'm playing around. Now, it said he stripped the news organization's verification checkmark shortly thereafter, citing the company's refusal to pay for the platform's revamped Twitter Blue subscription service. Twitter relaunched its updated Twitter Blue subscription service in December. We all know we all hated the Twitter Blue stuff. Even me, I'm not on Twitter, and I can see why it's annoying. There's a prestige that comes with the verification, and everything like that. If you got a verification, people know you're really about it. They know you really do what you do. You know what I'm saying? If you're a guy and you have a check mark, all the girls instantly want you. Why? Because you got that check mark, because it has that status that comes with it. And they pretty much made that to where you could just pay to get the status. So it doesn't hold any value anymore. Very sad. Now, Musk said in a tweet Tuesday that legacy verified accounts, including news organizations and journalists, will lose their check marks on April 20th. So I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you guys think this is Elon Musk really just calling out a media company for essentially taking money from the government and then pushing those agendas? Or do you think NPR is kind of just like, hey, well, Twitter's coming at us, so now we no longer want to be a part of this? They said no matter what happens at Twitter, they won't be using the platform. They probably would if Elon left, but, pretty much, with the way that Twitter is going and the direction that it's going in, they don't see a reason to be a part of that. I'm not sure. I would love to see the amount of money lost. I'm sure a large company like NPR would probably lose a ton of money and exposure, by no longer having access to one of the biggest social media sites. I couldn't see that being, lucrative in any type of way to make this move. And let me know what you guys think about this. Are you guys kind of more on the Twitter side of this? Are you guys kind of more on the NPR side about this? Because as we do know, Elon Musk and what he's kind of doing over at Twitter is a problem. But paid media, especially government-funded paid media, where they can push those agendas, is a huge problem. Like I said, misinformation on media is one of the worst things that can ever come out. And it can cause people to move in a type of way, thinking a certain type of way that may not even possibly be true. So guys, if you like this type of content, definitely like, comment, subscribe, and all of that good stuff. And I'm gonna get some water, and then we're gonna go ahead and get into the next topic, which is gonna be Warren Buffett, and he's basically going to tell us his place, what he thinks about this whole bank situation, the whole SVB bank collapse, rich people pulling their money out the bank, and so on and so forth. I'll be right back. Got my glass of water to get ready for this next topic. And as you guys know, like I said, we're talking about Warren Buffett, who is pretty much saying that this bank, the bank's collapsing and everything involving with that will possibly still continue. As you guys know, Warren Buffett is one of the greatest financial stock market gurus, if not of all time, and everything like that. So it's very important to kind of hear from the experts he's like a top level expert, if not the best expert on one of these types of topics. So it's very interesting to see what he'll have to say, and hopefully that can give us an idea on not only how the richer banks like SVB, which collapsed, and rich people pulled out their money, which caused kind of like a panic in a whole bunch of other banks. Their stock shares prices went down and valuation went down and everything like that. So what he says actually will mean a lot for the future. There's probably a lot of people who have their money in a bank, and they might be looking to what Warren Buffett is saying to decide how they want to move in the future. So I'm not going to hold you guys up, and let's go ahead and get into this article, guys. Take a sip of water, you know what I'm saying? Now it says here, Warren Buffett says we're not through with bank failures. Now it says, investing legend Warren Buffett believes there could be more bank failures down the road, but depositors should never be worried. That seems a little strange, because if there is a bank failure and you're not able to get your money, that's a reason to be worried. Money loss is one of the biggest reasons to be worried about anything. You know what I'm saying? Anything outside of your family. The next best thing I assume would be losing money. Or let's say you got $2 million. If you can't access that, that should be something to worry about. Now, he said we're not over bank failures, but depositors haven't had a crisis. The Berkshire Hathaway chairman and CEO told Becky's Quick on Squawk Box Wednesday from Tokyo. Banks go bust, but depositors aren't going to be hurt. How are they not going to be hurt? If you guys know, a lot of these banks, they can insure up to $250,000, and you have any more than that, then you're kind of liable for that. So maybe he'll elaborate. Now it says the collapses at the Silicon Valley Bank, SVB, and Signature Bank last month, the second and third largest bank failures in U.S. history, people, respectively prompted extraordinary rescue actions from regulators who backstopped all deposits in the failed lenders and provided an additional funding facility for troubled banks. The Oracle of Omaha and some of the dumb things that banks do periodically become uncovered during this period, including having mismatched assets and liabilities, as well as questionable accounting. And that's essentially where the problem lies, guys. You put your money into a bank, the bank essentially takes your money, and they're supposed to match that. So if you put $1 into the bank, they're supposed to have another dollar. So they're supposed to have $2, your dollar, and another dollar to match your dollar, just in case, you want your dollar and they're doing something with your dollar. Well, the banks actually play a very ugly game where when they receive your dollar, they try to make money off of their dollar. So they trade your dollar on the stock market. They give your dollar out with loans and everything like that. And a lot of times banks don't assume that everybody will come to pull out their money. So since they know that, okay, not everybody is going to come pull out their money at one time, then they're okay with playing, on that edge, of trading your money, trying to make money off of your money while possibly not being able to have the valuation to pay everybody their money back. And that's really why this becomes such an issue. But when that gets exposed, everyone panics, they come to pull out their money, and then the bank and their accountants are like, we can't necessarily access that money, which means the people can't access their money, which makes them panic, which makes other people go try to grab their money, which makes the entire situation even worse. And then it becomes a cycle, until the U.S. government does something ugly, like then choose to bail out these banks, which we've seen happen. Now it says banks have been tempted to do that forever. Accounting procedures have driven some bankers to do some things that have helped their current earnings a little bit and caused their recurring temptation to get a little bit bigger spread on record, a little more than the earnings. There's Warren Buffett, our guy. He's looking good. He's looking good for his age, right, guys? I think we all can agree. Now, Buffett said that some bankers will continue this behavior and will put shareholders in some of the stocks at risk. To me, that's a reason why you should appreciate the like, whoever throw that like, appreciate the love and support. But shouldn't that be a reason for you to be kind of fearful of the banks? Like, he's saying that, he's saying banks still could collapse, but the people whose money are in those banks shouldn't be worried. It just seems kind of weird. Seems a little off. And Warren Buffett's not normally off, so I'm sure there's got to be more to it. There's got to be more to it, you know? Now it says, but the 92-year-old investor said there was unnecessary fear and panic about depositors losing their money when the system is set up to protect the entire nation's deposits. All right. So what happens though if your bank collapses? You got $1 million in it, and you're only liable for $250,000. I mean, if the government bails that bank out, possibly you could get your money, but what if they don't? Are you just screwed? Is that money just floating in the air now, and now you can't access your money? Now it says the costs of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation are borne by the banks. Banks have never cost the federal government a dime. Okay, so maybe I'm wrong, about those bailouts. But we've definitely seen, these banks get bailed out by the government. The public doesn't understand that. Nobody is going to lose money on a deposit in a U.S. bank. Okay. It's not going to happen. You don't need to turn a dumb decision by managers into panicking an entire citizenry of the United States about something they don't need to be panicked about. But my question is, why do they not need to be panicked? If these banks do collapse, how are we going to get our money? Is he saying that the government will bail them out and we'll be able to get our money? Well, at the same time, you're also saying that the U.S. government doesn't pay any money to banks. I'm not really understanding it. If I have any accountants or bankers or anything like that, high-level bankers or anything like that, definitely let me know in the comments and stuff what exactly he's trying to say here. Because, I understand Warren Buffett is an extremely intelligent man, but I'm just breaking down each and everything that he's saying from my standpoint. And as you guys know, I don't claim to be the most intelligent person or anything like that. I just read what I see and I go off of what I see. And if someone presents something better to me or new information, then I go off of the new information. But to me, this seems like a whole lot of hypocrisy. It's like, so the banks can collapse. The banks have people's money. They're only allowed to get $250,000 from it. So if they do collapse, anybody with more than $250,000 is screwed over. And the only way that they get their money is if the government bailed out the bank. But then he's saying the government doesn't give banks any money. Is that making sense to you guys? It's not making sense to me. Now, he said it's stressed that it's crucial that banks retain the confidence of the public, and they can lose that confidence in seconds, as highlighted in the recent blow-up. Buffett has been a white knight for troubled banks in the past. Makes a lot of sense, being a hedge fund manager. It's probably not that bad for him. He famously came to Goldman Sachs' rescue with the $5 billion cash infusion after the collapse of Lehman Brothers in 2008. He injected $5 billion into the then beleaguered Bank of America in a major show of faith. So this may also be why he's kind of telling the public, like, hey, maybe he's warning us. To me, this sounds like a warning that kind of helps the banks out. And as we see, it's in his interest to help out the banks because that's why he's giving them money to relieve them. I feel like this is the type of situation where he's essentially saying, like, hey guys, you may see some more bank failures in the future, but don't panic. Because it's probably bad for him if the people panic because they see the banks are collapsing. So he's saying, hey, already be ready for this to happen. So when it does happen, you don't panic. And then more banks don't start to collapse as a result of that, which is probably on his agenda, and positive for him and, Berkshire Hathaway for these banks to not collapse. Let me know what you guys think about this. I think this is a very interesting and confusing topic, the way that he's saying. Let me know, especially my guys who are very work in these types of industries and are very knowledgeable about the topic. We normally have a lot of people swoop in every day in the videos that come and they tell me stuff like, hey man, you're not right about this, or this is why that's happening. And that's very helpful for me to get an understanding. And this channel is here so we can all kind of get through this business news his political news and just be more informed every day. So if you're one of those guys who comes in and comments and makes those type of comments, I really appreciate that. And as you guys know, like, comment, and subscribe and everything like that to help the channel grow. This has been a really, really good and interesting topic. But now it's time for us to move into the next topic. The next topic is going to be about Donald Trump, and we know he's been dealing with a lot of legal trouble. The question is, when is he not dealing with a lot of legal trouble? But we're actually not talking about his 36 felonies that he got found non-guilty about today. Today, we're talking about them trying to slow down or delay the case from the essay accusation that he had with Jean Carroll. I believe this was in the late 90s or something, in a department store or something like that. She alleges that he, touched her inappropriately. So there's a whole case going on with that. There's actually a picture of her right here in this article. I'm gonna move my ugly face around a little bit. I know you guys love to see my face, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I gotta move out of the way for the article. You know what I'm saying, everything like that. And you see it says Trump asked to delay SA trial following historic indictment. Yeah, his indictment was extremely historic. We already know that. It was the first time a president had ever been indicted on criminal charges in general, especially ones of that nature. Felonies, it was history made, and it wasn't a good look for Trump at all. And this also isn't a good look for Trump at all. If you guys can see my thumbnail off the rip, those are all women that have come out against Trump. I'm not saying that he's guilty of anything at all. I do think it's ugly when multiple people come out and they're saying the same thing about you. I'm normally the kind of person to say, if one person comes out, okay, they might be lying. If two people comes out, you should look into it. If three people come out, okay, it's probably true. But as we know, Trump is a president. He's a multi-millionaire and everything like that. So these people can be the targets of things like this. So for that reason, you give him a little grace. But like I said, when you have this many people coming out, it's something that you definitely want to look into and investigate, in my opinion. Now, that's her right there, Jean Carroll. Take a sip of my water. Ooh, excuse me. That's why I need my water. Now it says lawyers for former President Donald Trump asked a judge to delay the start of an SA trial and defamation trial for 1 month to allow cooling off period following the historic indictment charging Trump with falsifying business records. So I guess they're saying, hey, like, there's been a lot going on lately with this and everything. Maybe they're going to make the argument that, hey, we don't want people to feel a certain type of way about this case because of the last case. Like, think if you had an idea of who Trump was because of the prior case, then it may influence you to think differently about this current case. Joe Tacopina, an attorney for Trump, asked the judge overseeing the battery and defamation lawsuit brought by former magazine columnist Jean Carroll to delay the trial until the end of May. The trial is scheduled to start on April 25th. So this man Trump really not getting to live his life at all. Sorry about that, guys. I'm still a little bit too... sorry, I'm moving stuff. There we go. It's a little bit smaller. There we go. Yeah, so, Trump just dealt with that case, so it is very, very close. But they have to have a reason. If you get in trouble or you're dealing with the law and you get subpoenaed, you got to pull up. It doesn't matter what your life's like, Now it says the pool of potential jurors will have the criminal charges top of mind when they are called due to the intense media coverage, and that could taint the jury pool. That's likely. Trump was charged with falsifying business records to cover up hush money payments made to Stormy Daniels to stop her from going public about a past affair days before the 2016 presidential election. And as we know, he pleaded not guilty to these charges. Now, it said this is a quote from him, to be sure, President Trump is a persistent subject of media coverage. But the present situation is a unique because, as stated above, like, why do we have to look at that? Like, no one's trying to see that. I wish I could get that off my screen for you basically he said the same issue at the heart of this litigation. Taco Pina said in his letter to Judge Lewis Kaplan. Trump has denied the affair with Daniels. He has denied essaying Carol, who alleges that Trump, did that to her in a New York department store dressing room in the mid-1990s. She first sued him for defamation in 2019 after he denied it and said she's not my type, and alleged she made the claim to boost sales of her book. Very interesting. And, he's going to come out and he's going to say things like this because think, if this happened, mid-1990s, like let's say it's 1995, he's probably thinking, obviously, why did you just now come out with this over 20 years later and also while you're dropping a book, and everything like that. So this is going to be a very interesting case and everything like that. I want to know what you guys think about this case in general. Do you guys think that Trump did this? Do you guys think that all these multitude, I think it might be like 15 women at this point that have come out against Trump, like at this point. So that's gotta hold some type of weight. Like I said, one person, maybe they're lying. Two people, let's look into it. Three people, all right, it's probably true, or there's at least a small piece of truth to it. So I want to know what you guys are thinking. Are you on the Trump side? Are you on the Jean Carroll side and everything like that? Also, do you guys think that, the point that he just did deal with 36 cases and the indictment, literally like a few weeks ago, do you guys think that's going to sway the way that jurors think? I do personally think that that is going to sway the way that jurors think, simply because if you see somebody in a certain light, regardless of what facts and evidence come, the average non-logical person is still going to kind of go with the way that they feel, not the way that they think or the facts that are proposed. So if you think, oh man, that man Trump is terrible, but he just got off for those because he's the president, then if you're one of those jurors on this next trial, you might be like, okay, even though the facts don't say anything, I know he's a bad guy. So I'm just going to stick it to the man, and everything like that. So let me know what you guys think about that. Also, throw your likes, comments, and subscribe. It definitely pushes out the channel to way more people. And the channel's been doing really great lately. So shout out to all the people in NGB, the gang, NGB Business News. I'm going to get a little bit more water, and then we're going to go ahead and get into the next topic, which will basically be about the next and last topic, which will essentially be about Elon Musk giving pretty much the status of Twitter and everything like that. He claims Twitter has broken even. I don't know about all that, but I do know Instagram made billion. I think, did they make over $1 billion? Nah, they made hundreds of millions of dollars over introducing their check marks, and because you were able to pay for them. So who knows, maybe Twitter is profiting well off of these check marks or something like that. But I'm gonna grab some water and then we'll get into the final topic. Gotta check my phone. Forgot my water. Also, by the way, guys, you like the fit? A little like, just a little like, dang, I got a little something right here, but a little jeans, little dark jeans, little polo shirts, polo. All right, guys, I got my water. We're all ready to get into the last topic because honestly, we haven't really spoken about Twitter and Elon Musk as much as I used to in the past. He's been kind of quiet lately, as quiet as you can be as a billionaire, so obviously really not that quiet. And you know how Elon Musk is, so he's always doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Might have a video dropping soon too about the whole Dogecoin situation and everything like that, where he pretty much posted Dogecoin on Twitter's website and changed the Twitter logo to Dogecoin, which caused a 40% increase in their price. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about this, people. We're talking about, let me move myself real quick, and everything like that. So a little bit bigger so you guys can see how amazing I look. It sounds like Jesse Lee Peterson. Amazing. But let's see. Because it's very interesting. You really don't hear about the numbers in Twitter and stuff, everything like that, especially since now they're no longer a publicly traded company. So I'm pretty sure they don't have to release as much as they normally would have had to. Let me get this drop of water. I got it for something. All right. So it says Elon Musk says Twitter takeover has been painful, but the company now is roughly break even. As we know, this is Elon Musk. You guys all know what he looks like. Now it says Elon Musk says that Twitter is close to becoming a cash flow positive after making sharp layoffs and working to lure advertisers back to the platform. So could this be the start of the turnaround of Twitter possibly? He said, I'd say we're roughly break even at this point. He said Wednesday during a live interview with BBC recorded on Twitter Spaces. Now, Musk has pushed to make more money at Twitter to recoup his multi-billion-dollar investment in the company. As part of this income generation drive, Twitter has sought to make more money from subscriptions, charging users $8 a month to get access to Twitter verification marks and the ability to edit tweets, among other features. I didn't know that. I didn't know that it was more than just being verified. I didn't know that you actually get more features and things like that for the $8. I also would love to see, I think Instagram made $400 million or something when, within the first day of introducing, you being able to pay for verification checks, because all those dudes that always wanted one all day life so they could get some girls, was like, oh, I'll just buy one, not realizing the girl is now at this point going to go and look at your followers and see that you bought it. And that's probably going to hurt you more than even helps you. But they probably made a decent amount of money from that, We can already kind of have an idea of that, I feel like, because of the correlation with Instagram. If Instagram was able to make $400 million off of it, then Twitter probably made a little too. Now, Musk said that Twitter will start removing blue check marks from accounts without a subscription to the company's Twitter Blue service next week. So if you already had it, that's crazy. If you already had a check mark, they will actually take it away from you, which seems kind of a little weird. Mouse is acting crazy. What's going on? Now, says doing the interview, Musk said that almost all advertisers have resumed buying ads on the platform, and after several hit pause on Twitter advertising following his acquisition of the app. As you know, it was a very sticky and ugly acquisition. He purchased Twitter for $44 billion in late October after a drawn-out legal battle with the company. He has sought to radically overhaul the platform, including its content moderation policies, because that's what he claimed he was coming in to do. He came in to kind of monitor Twitter in a way that would really promote free speech and everything like that. While it also seems like he kind of came in and took away a lot of free speech at that same time. But when he did acquire Twitter, that was kind of the mantra that they were going with. Now it says this has spooked many product players, with half of Twitter's top 100 advertisers now estimated to have left the platform since he took over, that is a lot. That's how these companies make their money, guys. So that's a lot of people. The only reason they don't make money off of views unless there's an advertiser, you know what I'm saying, and everything like that. So you might have a lot of people still on Twitter, but if there's no advertisers, there's no money to be made. Essentially, at that point, the app is working for free. And you guys know it takes a lot of money to run something like Twitter, to keep that running. Now, he said, depending on how things go, if current trends continue, I think we could be cash flow positive this quarter if things keep going well. Brands were concerned about the app failing to tackle hateful posts in the wake of the $44 billion deal, which was completed in October 2022. He styles himself as a free speech absolutist and says he wants to encourage free expression on Twitter. Yeah. I think even like Apple was pretty much saying like that they may like consider not having Twitter on the Apple App Store because, you know, he was allowing so many, you know, quote unquote free speech but hateful speech, you know, allowing it on Twitter, to where a big company like Apple, which imagine you have your iPhone and you can't download Twitter on it because it's not on the App Store anymore. That would be crazy. But that just goes to show the scope of where companies are potentially willing to take it. You know, if you know this if this entity, as in Twitter, isn't necessarily woke enough for them, you know. But that's also, you have to consider too, that's also a lot of the reasons why people are on Twitter. That's kind of a lot of the reasons why people have a Twitter, because it's unfiltered, because it's raw, you know, because of that whole type of thing. Because you can say whatever you want to say without consequences that you would deal with on, you know, maybe YouTube or Instagram or something like that. Now, he controversially allowed Donald Trump, who was last week charged with 34. They'll never get over these counts for him. Like, see, now it's just tied to his name. I told you guys in an earlier video, like, even still that he was found non-guilty, this could still be really harmful to him. And it's for reasons like this. Now they can throw it in the article like this. The former president has said he has no intention of returning, opting instead to post on his own site. CNBC was not able to independently verify if the most previous advertisers are returning them. Now, he said all of them have either come back or said they're going to come back. There are very few exceptions. Now, this could also be a political play too, where he's trying to get more investors to come back. So he's kind of saying, hey guys, we're starting to be money positive. Like, that's a good thing for the company. A lot of people are coming back, and maybe that'll encourage others, you know, to come back. So this could be a whole political move too at that, to kind of get the ball really rolling, because losing half of your advertisers could almost possibly in some companies potentially bankrupt them, you know. Now, when pressed by BBC on which advertisers hasn't returned, he said, I actually don't know of anyone who said definitively they're not coming back. There are all sorts of type of trending to coming back. Hey, jump in, the water's warm. It's great. See what I'm saying? That's probably why he tried to pop back in, you know, to get these advertisers back. They need them. Now, representatives for Volkswagen, General Motors, Stellantis, which paused advertising on Twitter for Musk's accusation, were not immediately able for comment when contacted by CNBC. Now it says Twitter, who erased its press department in a wave of layoffs this year, automatically responded to CNBC request for a comment with a poop emoji. Very unprofessional. Why do they do this? Like, why do they, if you want advertisers, it's like Elon Musk is like, he's serious sometimes and he's not, you know, in other times. And it's like, when people are investing into your company, they want to help your company grow, or they want to put their money on the line. They don't want a CEO who is going to be serious one week, posting a poop emoji one week. You know what I'm saying? Serious about building the brand one week, switching out the brand on the brand logo on the website with the Dogecoin dog. You know what I'm saying? A Dogecoin dog, you know? Now it says, in December, advertising guru Maurice Levy told CNBC that Twitter was at a crossroads of complete freedom, which could result in either chaos or better oversight. And most advertisers are in a wait-and-see mode. They're just trying to see, is Twitter going to still be in an upswing? Is it still going to be as powerful as worth? Or are people going to start leaving the platforms before, you know, they start writing up contracts and things like that? Now it says, I believe if we are going back to something more controlled, advertisers will get back to Twitter. Now, this speaks a little bit about the painful takeover. During the BBC interview, Musk said that Twitter takeover process has been marked by an extremely high level of pain. We've all seen it. We were watching with our popcorn. We were like, "Oh man, it's not looking good. Oh, they losing shares. They losing valuation at Twitter too because of Tesla too because of what's going on at Twitter. You know, and if you just talk to people that use Twitter a lot of them were not in favor of the policy changes like the verification marks that he had. Now, he said it's been quite a stressful situation for the last few months, or several months. It's been quite painful, but at the end of the day, it should have been done. So he has no regrets. You know, were there any mistakes made along the way? Yeah, of course, you know, all's well that ends well. Now, they slashed thousands of roles Twitter is now at 1,500 employees, down from 8,000 when he took over. Wow, that's like over an 80% cut, guys. Yeah, 2,000 would be. That's like an 80% cut or something like that. Insane. Wow. The exchange came after Twitter added a label to the BBC's Twitter account saying it was classified as government-funded media. The BBC is largely funded by a license fee that British households must pay to watch BBC programs and all other channels. He said the platform will change the label to say publicly funded media rather than government-funded media, During the interview, he lambasted the media and said he is under constant attack. He said they're able to trash me on a regular basis in the US and the UK. He says Musk also falsely claims COVID is no longer an issue, while the World Health Organization still classifies C-19 as a pandemic. So what do you guys think about this? Do you guys think this is a W move from Elon Musk and Twitter, or do you guys think this is kind of like them realizing okay, we got to get the ball rolling. I spent $44 billion on this. Maybe it's about time for me to start getting my money back, stop playing so many games, try to get some of these advertisers back. And now he's kind of going out to these media companies and trying to put Twitter in a way to where it's looking like, hey guys, we're about to start making more money again. Come on back, come on back. Or do you guys think this is the whole type of thing, what I'm saying, like I'm saying, where a lot of these companies were probably making good money at Twitter, and they saw Twitter as being a place where maybe we didn't want to do advertising because they're not really pushing that woke narrative, or they have too much free speech, and maybe they don't want to promote a platform that is, making certain moves or saying certain things or allowing certain things on their platform. Let me know how you guys feel about that. Also, I want to know, how do you guys feel about Twitter since Elon Musk there? My people who scroll through Twitter for hours in the day, I really want to hear from you guys. Do you guys think Twitter is a better app since Elon came? Is it worse? And let us know why you feel that the way that you feel. So I appreciate all the guys and girls who came into the stream and everything like that. Definitely on your way out, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to help the channel grow. We're going to be streaming a lot, guys. We're going to be streaming a lot. So if you guys want to see these topics dealing with, the government, social issues sometimes, definitely going to be touching on things that have to deal with businesses like this, the stock market. If you enjoy that type of news and have friends that do, help me push the content out so we can really get these conversations going. Sometimes it can get a little litty in the chat, and everything like that. So I appreciate everybody who threw a like to the stream and everything like that, and I hope you guys all have a beautiful and blessed day.